Today I'm going to be breaking down Sunny Ade by Zinoleesky, where as usual I'm going to be talking you through the various elements that I'm picking up on as we go through it. Alright, you know the score, headphones on, let's get into some new music.
We don't stop. Sorry. Right now, no do can't be worried. Then I tell me about my journey. Say rainy days are coming, and every day can be sunny. Don't make a fall and die. Papa got the day my side.
Okay, right, I'm gonna stop it there, man. That transition's fire, and so is the chorus. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about the intro and the first verse. Okay, so let's talk about the intro then. So we've got set guitars in there, they're driving that main melody, they're nice and upbeat, and they're following very closely to that initial rhythm. But what we notice is that there are no big drums in there. No kick drum, no snare, no heavy hitters whatsoever in the mix. But we do get some intro vocals from Zino, and they're queuing us up for the opening of that first verse. And of course, we also have some sound design in there as well. Now, it's only momentarily, so you have to listen out for it, but it is definitely there. Moving on to the first verse then, and the first thing that we notice here is that again there's no big drums in the mix at all. All that they do is simply carry over that intro rhythm into the first verse. But what we do get, just as we tip over into the verse, is we get a momentary hit of a kick drum, so listen out for that. Keys, they're brought into the mix, again very subtle, slightly drowned out by those lead guitars, but if you listen hard enough, you'll definitely pick up on them. Vocals, spaced out at least initially, and what they do to kind of fill that void between the back end phrase and the next phrase starting is they use quite a lot of tail offs, at least in the first segment of the first verse. But if you pay attention, when we shift over into the second segment of the first verse, Zino switches up his flow and those tail offs actually become a lot less obvious. And then the final thing is the transition. It bangs, it's fire, and that's all there is to it. All right, let's go back. Let's listen. Right, there's those guitars, intro vocals, no big drums, sound design. Spacing on the lyrics. There's the keys. Right, switched up the flow now. Transition. Bangs, mate.
Papa got the day my side. Everything I talk now lie. Everything I talk now lie. Me she my baby to Sunny Ade. And she my whole life for ya day. Now me sabi how I dey play my game. For these people want to spend my name. One rope with my phone, one rope with my job. I give one rope with my son. But nothing if you do, I'm alone. Blessings on blessings. Man, no be God see the setting.
Okay, right, I am going to stop it there. We have leaked over into the second verse. Let's talk about the chorus and the post-chorus. So, the most obvious thing within the chorus is the drums. They come into the mix and this rhythm absolutely bangs. Lots of syncopation, lots of variation, and the roll that we get on that kick, that do-do-do-do-dun, absolute fire. Got what sounds like a mix of a log drum and a synth bass in there as well, and that, my friends, is absolute filth. But pay attention to the lead guitars. You notice that they switch up. They're buried further back in the mix on the chorus, and the rhythm of them change. And then finally, we've got Zino's flow, right? Much more pacier, but also the vocals are much more layered in the chorus than what they were in the verse. Post-chorus. Now, not much to talk about here. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But if you pay attention, what you will notice is structurally, we essentially end up going back to the intro and the verse where the drums are stripped out and we've got those lead guitars back in the mix. And let's go back and let's listen.
Don't make her fall and die. Baba got the day my
That
side.
synth bass.
Everything I talk now lie.
Listen to the flow. Guitars further back in the mix. Boom. Back to the intro and the verse.
Blessings on blessings. Man, no be God, see the settings. After all we done, kill a fencing. Yeah, kill a fencing. After the take over. Anytime we step in, it's game over. This one a Ferrari, no be Range Rover. Remember, it's game over. 1v1 fire for fire.
Right, nice switch up there.
All these people want make a tire. She go the red that is a tire. She be all alone, read me. If I do it in the talk, then make it be. She be all alone, read me. I know do it in the talk. Don't make her fall and die. Baba got the day my side.
Okay, right, I'm going to pause it there. We're going to talk about the second verse and then we're going to go ahead and see the rest of the track out. All right, so there's really only a few points that I want to talk about within this second verse, but there is one that is of particular interest and it's around the rhythm. Because when we hit this second verse, we don't just get some slight variation within the rhythm, we get a complete switch up in the rhythm altogether. Cast your mind back to the chorus, right? We've got this varied and active beat. We then shift over into the verse, the second verse, and we start to have this, not exactly, but more along the lines of a 4/4 rhythm. And the reason why I say not exactly is because there is some slight variation within that. But that only happens in the first segment. We shift over into the second segment. What do we get? We go back to more of what we had in the chorus. And the reason why this is so interesting is because it's not that often that within a song you will actually get a complete variation within the rhythm of the beat. And I just think it's an absolutely banging touch. Bass line. You notice that it's different in the second verse compared to what it was in the chorus. Much more softer, much more warmer. And then finally is Zeno's flow. You notice that he's chosen to stick with a much more pacier flow that we had in the chorus rather than going back to what we had in the first verse where things were a lot more spaced out. Let's go back, let's listen, see the rest of the track out. Right, listen.
Blessings on blessings.
Listen to that beat. Completely switched up. Listen to the bass. Got a riser coming in, listen. And the beat is going to change. Boom. All these people want make a tire. She go the red that is a tire. She be all alone, read me. If I do it in the talk, then make it be. She be all alone, read me. I know do it in the talk. Don't make her fall and die. Baba got the day my side. Everything I talk now lie. Everything I talk now lie. She my baby to Sunny Ade. And she my whole life for your day. I'm sabi how I play my game. For these people want spend my name. One rock with my phone. One rock with my job, I give one rock with my son. But nothing if you do, I'm alone. Right, seeing us out now. Okay, that's it for me. If you want to see more breakdown and analysis videos, there'll be things popping up on the screen right now. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.